Good afternoon. Welcome to March 17th, 2025 Board of Public Works and Safety. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Jim Barrett.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. We'll begin with roll call.
Becky Gibson.
Present.
Diana Phillips. Present. Jim Barrett.
here.
Okay, everyone has the minutes from the March 3rd, 2025 regular meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those?
So approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Move on down to new business. Amanda's not here. She called me last night. She's very sick. So we got the 2025 After Prom Boot Drive, April 5th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at all three intersections. And she already knows to get a hold of Jeremy and make sure that she get everything, but just need approval for this.
I move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to item B, Jenny McCarroll with the Pinwheel Parade for Child Abuse Month. Jenny, you want to come up and talk about that?
Sure, yeah, thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, so April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and I'm part of the Prevent Child Abuse Council here in Fayette County. I work at Firefly Children and Family Alliance, and we're partnering with the Little Spartans Preschool to do a pinwheel parade. So we were coming here today to try to get permission to get help with blocking off the street in order to do that. The reason we're doing that, because of April being Child Abuse Prevention Month, we just like to do an event in all the counties that we cover to just draw attention to that, to help the community know that there is a group of people who focus on resourcing families and making sure that kids have their needs met, that kind of thing. So for those of you who might remember, we used to do them years ago, and then after COVID we kind of stopped, and then we did one last year, and it was successful, so we would just like to continue trying to make that an annual thing. So we'd be asking for permission, blocking the street from right in front of Little Spartans Preschool would be 18th and Eastern, and then probably down to 14th, which would put us on the other side of the Department of Child Services office. So we're just going to be walking about 150 kiddos just north of the street, or sorry, walking them south from Little Spartans Preschool down to the Department of Child Services office, where they'll do like a little song and we'll have a brief presentation, and then walking them back and planting pinwheel gardens at the school. The pinwheel is the national symbol for child abuse prevention, so that's why we do that.
What's the date?
April 25th, and we would like to start at 9 a.m.
And she's already spoken with the police chief, which is why she's here. So
Yes, yeah.
that's all been taken care of. Anybody have any questions?
I think it's a very good idea, and I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Going down to item C, we have an interlocal agreement with the Fayette County School Corporation. This is, we redid this. We had interlocal agreements in the past, and this one is way outdated, so we just want to get it updated with some new information. Marla and I met with the superintendent and his staff to go over use of the buildings and everything we get used. So this is what we come up with. So I see permission to approve the interlocal agreement between the City of Carnesville and the Fayette County School Corporation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item D, I have some fencing quotes. I know this is below the amount threshold where we need, but I want to bring this to your attention because this is outside of the caveat for the drone we got. Our original location, we had two locations that we were looking at for the drones. One of the things we didn't even think about was with Reed, they're going to be putting in a heliport. So once we start talking to the company, we made mention about the heliport because it doesn't show up on any map yet. So we told them that, and they advised us we could do it, but it'd be better not to put it to the heliport. So we decided to look for a different location. And Chief Jones, he and Nate were looking at, sorry, Chief Jones and Assistant Chief Stevens, I used to call him on a first name basis. We're looking behind Station 1. I feel like that'd be a good place for it, secure, but we do have to put a fence there. It has to be a certain size for the drone, so we just want permission to approve. We got two quotes. One's from Oler Fencing for $4,000 and one is from M2S Fencing from Liberty, and they're $69.50. So I'm asking permission to approve the $4,000 for Old Fencing so we can get the fence up and running and start getting this drone activated.
Motion to approve the mayor's request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Going on to Director Steele.
Hello.
Hello.
I just would like to request permission to apply for 3 of the different REMC locations for a grant at each of those locations. And this grant will be for Living Well, Aging Well. Our program is growing, and we have a lot more activities that we're providing, a lot of snacks, a lot of different things that we're doing with Living Well, Aging Well. And so we'd just like to expand on everything that we're doing. And these grants are from $500 to $1,000. And we'll probably apply for 500 of each of those, 3 different locations. So I'd just like to ask permission to do that.
I move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Bolos.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So you guys have my letter that I submitted asking you guys to accept the resignation of Officer Patrick Malone.
I'll make a motion to approve the chief's request on the resignation and to thank that guy for his service that we thank him for.
Have a motion
I'll second it.
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, along with that, leaves an opening once again. So I'm asking permission to replace him with a pool of applicants that we are putting together.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You might as well just stay up here. I'm going to not necessarily change the order, but just with the weekend that the fire department's had, there's a lot going on right now, and I told chiefs, I was like, just don't bother coming with the reports today. So they're still dealing with a lot of issues from the 2 big fires we had. Go ahead.
Okay, so you have a copy of my February monthly report. Overtime is at just over $11,000. Gallons of fuel, we used 2,047 gallons of fuel. The number of incidents in February was right at 600. Any questions on those? Okay. Department training hours, we had 194 training hours. K-9 had 16 of those. Our K-9 also had 8, not just one, had 8 traffic deployment, which they got 15 grams of meth, 20 Xanax, and 9 controlled prescription pills. Our detective division, they took in 12 cases in February. They closed out 9. Still have 19 ICAC cases open, and they closed 1 of those. As far as our drug collections, took in over 40 grams of marijuana, 9 pills, 1 needle, and took 1 gun off the street and a few items of paraphernalia. Any questions on those? On a different note, our Officer Russell is up at K-9 School at Vaughn Lake. He's into it a week out of 6 for our K-9 training at Vaughn Lake. Our Officer Leon attended a week-long school for hostage negotiations down in Evansville, Indiana. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wolf.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Ordinance Office Report for February 2025. For the month of February, I did 87 different violations. 61 of those were accumulation of trash and rubbish. 5 expired plates, abandoned vehicles, or demolition derby cars. 4 due to parking position. 3 public information requests. 2 health department issues related to bed bugs and improper food operations. 2 zoning issues relating to new construction and illegal building additions. 1 interior furniture outside of the home. Oh, I take that back. 2 interior furnitures outside the home. 1 illegal dumping. 1 public safety request, requesting information about trespassing forms. 1 issue relating to signs. 1 street department issue relating to new driveways being built. 1 animal control assist. 1 false report on a neighbor's yard condition. 1 illegal dumping inside the county, which I turned over to the county commissioners and they're addressing it. And 1 transient merchant, being an exterior company out of Indianapolis going door to door knocking. Yeah, it's been an interesting start to the new year, I can tell you that. Some of these came from, I did a periodic review. I took some of our largest landlords and I went around and I reviewed every property they had. And so far, the 2 that I've communicated with have been very receptive as far as the landlords go, and they appreciated having me take a look before it got into the heat of summer when things are being left outside their properties. So hopefully that'll pan out. And we've also started, if these violations aren't cleared up within the 10-day allotted time frame, they get a $500 fine on the court date. Miraculously, so far, 2 of the 3 that have received $500 fines have cleared it before the court date, which has been awesome. 1 has not, and I will be seeing them on the 1st. So, and that's $500 a week until court, not just one time. So they'll be at about $2,500 come court time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Director Wilson.
You used to fine people a long time ago, like $25, they could pay the fine and leave the charge in the yard. Yeah.
Start with the utilities, monthly report. The water plant monthly totals, we pumped 71.657 million gallons for the month of February. Also think it's important to add, we added 1,885 pounds of fluoride for that month. That's a reoccurring every month additive to the water. It's starting to get pretty costly. The cost has continually went up since about 2020. The wastewater treatment plant monthly totals, we had a total inflow of 127 million gallons to the plant, and what we treated and sent out was 106 million gallons. We had a 3.2 inches of rain for the month of February, and used over 11,000, almost 12,000 pounds of phosphorus chemicals. Those phosphorus chemicals are used to remove phosphorus and to prevent algae growth. So, the blooms don't show up, deprive the water of oxygen, and kill off live organisms and hurt aquatic life that eventually will lead out to the river. So, has to be there, but hopefully one day we can offset that cost with possible UV treatment, which is something that we are speaking about in the future. A lot of plants are going to it because of the efficiency of UV treatment. We'll move on to the transfer station. Took in 339 tons from the street and sanitation. The public disposal was 374 tons. Total waste sent to landfill was 713 tons. And we recycled 19 tons. We served 1,166 customers for the month of February. I wanted to, with the board's permission, if everybody has a minute, talk about a couple of things on the utility side that will be in effect with like the water project. I think it's important to start having this conversation with the board and the community. We have had a leak at 3rd and Central. Most of you probably drive by it. We will be getting there quickly to patch that, just by the way. That leak was approximately 250 to 300,000 gallons a day. Where it was at, there was netting underneath of the asphalt. And we've seen the plant pumping about 300, 400 extra gallons a day. So it alerted us that something was wrong. We was pumping way more than we usually do. So about a week and a half went by. So you're 250,000 gallons at least a day, continually to dump out, not surfacing. Finally comes up in a valve box, comes to the road, we see it. We're like, okay, so we dig the road up. Sure enough, I think it was a 6-inch main, broke all the way around, older part of town. These are becoming more and more common. I ran some figures over the past 6 months or so since we've really been talking about this water project. And we have a lot of areas in town that are dilapidated, old, they're becoming brittle, and the leaks are, you can't keep up. I mean, you'll never will, but I just think it's important for the community to understand of how much out there is 50, 60, 70, 80 years and older. And we are coming to a point in time where it is requiring our attention to do something about it. You know, the amount of water that gets lost in the ground that doesn't get used, it obviously comes at a cost, and we have to begin to repair this infrastructure for, you know, not only just for today, but for tomorrow and for ratepayers in the future. If we don't start somewhere, it's only going to be more expensive down the road. So just want to make sure that everybody understands how many leaks that we have actively. I mean, just several. I couldn't even bring the list with me. Nobody has time. But we're constantly fixing leaks weekly. Hydrant leak on Houghton last month, I believe, led to a boil water advisory. That lasted about 4 days. We've got to send that off, make sure it's treated, make sure that it doesn't come back with any kind of negative testing, so that way customers can use their water and know it's safe to drink. So just wanted to bring some of that up to your guys' attention and to the community. Another thing is the large trash pickup. We've got a high volume of calls. People are curious when large trash is going to happen. That's going to start on May 1st, and then compost will open up April 21st. The hours of operations, the compost may change. I'm still looking into that, but just want everybody to know that it may go to Monday through Friday, and then open still on the weekend, but unmanned. We'll see how that kind of goes. As long as the customers don't throw trash, we should be okay to do it that way.
What's the date on compost?
April 21st,
Thank you.
and then large trash will be May 1st. I think that's a Thursday. It's one large item. We take about 30 on one Thursday a month, 30 items. You have to call to get on the list. If you're not on the list, you'll have to wait to try to get on the next month's list. If it's a couch or something, a fabric, it needs to be wrapped in plastic. This is for safety of our workers and the transfer station. So, anybody have any questions?
That's once a month?
Once a month, yep.
No, once every week.
Yeah, every Thursday of the month.
Okay, 'cause
Yeah,
you said
sorry.
next month-
Yeah,
next
every
month was-
Thursday of the month, sorry. People would probably be blowing up the phone. I thought it was more than that.
Yeah.
Every Thursday of the month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Pause.
For the month of February, we had 8 hours, 20 minutes of media production, 19 hours, 11 minutes of original production. Wanted to go over a little bit of the analytics. Again, I kind of expand that a little bit each month. We had 9,821 views on YouTube, which amounts to 1,860 hours, and we have 3,942 subscribers. Top content for the month, Spartan basketball. And then for the first time ever, we did the Spartan gymnastics event, and that came in second. People really enjoyed watching that. And then we've been putting out the TV3 bulletin board. That's the same that we put out on the cable system, and people are watching that online as well. So it's a lot of information, so people like to watch it. On Facebook, I kind of give a little bit of a breakdown, kind of adding in and cycling through different departments on that too, so we could see what the analytics are for that. Channel 3 had 6,517 views, 4,300 followers. City of Connorsville's Facebook page, 22,000 528 views with 6,100 followers. That one always does well. Street Department, 6,223 views, 5,212 followers. And the park system is really doing well on views, 90,162 views for the month, 9,713 followers. So the park system does a lot of really good advertising, in my opinion. They put a lot of information out there.
Absolutely.
So, and that's really good. Speaking of the park system, and I'll let Marla talk about this a little bit later, but we developed a web app for them. We came up with that here recently so that they could count the number of participants for the program that they have. And again, I'll let Marla talk about that. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Harden.
Good afternoon. I should have a copy of my January 2025 report. We had a total of 297 calls for service, puts us at 653 for the year. That's actually the lowest number of calls we've had in the previous 13 months. So we kind of hit a lot of records there in December and January, and kind of back down in February. So down one full-time at this point. Used 88 gallons of diesel and 447 of gasoline. You see my fuel tax rebate. Did provided EMS coverage for the girls' sectional basketball games. The last line there, it also corresponds with the last page. I pulled into the parking lot, noticed there was a strange vehicle in our parking lot, which is, always kind of get your attention. Yep, it was the state, and it was the pharmacy board. And they said, do you have time for a spot inspection? And that's kind of a rhetorical question. They don't mean, do you have time? They mean, you're going to make time. So they went through about 3 years worth of records. They were very pleased. We had a couple of things where they wanted the names changed on the forms, not the forms themselves, just the names on the forms. So if that's all they can find, I'll take that all day long. So
Absolutely.
that is required so that we can keep, store, and use medications. So before, we didn't have to have this, now we do. So we have to keep the state license so that we can keep and maintain our DEA license. That's a lot of paperwork, that's a lot of records, and the fact that they come in and find really nothing that they found deficient was pretty spectacular in my view. So, does anybody have any questions on anything? I just included the report. I tell you guys what, sometimes, and I'm like, this is what it actually looks like when they come in and they say they're good to go. So I thought, right, he goes in. Something different.
That's great.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
No questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
Director Steele.
Okay, so for department team, I am happy to report that we have 18 lifeguards. No, I'm sorry, 20. We just took 2 more applications. So they're going to go through 8 of them are returning. The rest of them are going to go through the lifeguard certification class. And we hope that they all pass. But we'll find out at the end or in the middle of April if they all pass, and then if they do, then we'll take them on as lifeguards for the summer. So that was a great turnout. We were getting a little nervous, not sure what was going to happen. And every year is just kind of questionable. You don't know how many lifeguards you're going to get, but I'm very thankful for having that many. It's going to be a good summer. And then that class is April 4th, 5th, and 6th. So they are all scheduled and ready to go. We do have a few that are taking a class later in the month just because they couldn't work in the April 4th, 5th, and 6th one. We have been installing cameras at the park, and we've been working with Hillfi for that installation, and he has completed cameras at Longwood Bridge, Roberts Park Pool, the Miller Building, and the pickleball courts. And then it is on our list to do the skate park and playground area, but we're not there yet on those. And then we are looking at options for Second Street Park. Since we don't have electric there, we're looking at one solar camera over there. at Second Street Park. So we're moving right along with all of our camera installations. And then we have installed all of our pickleball nets. It was crazy. We did that last Monday when it was really nice out. And I went in for a basketball game Monday night, and the courts were packed. I could not believe how many people were there. And it was just great to also see how many people were actually at the park in general. And I hear great positive feedback from other people from other communities saying how impressed they are that we have such a large amount of community members that go to the park and do activities at the park. And so that, you know, I'm really excited about that, and it just makes things worth it when you hear great comments like that. One person told me this weekend, our community does, I never see a single person at our park. And so it just goes to show that, you know, Roberts Park especially is a very important piece to this community. And then John had talked about a little bit about our Facebook page, so I just put that in here that we had 90,162 views in the month of February and 9,713 followers. So we're trying to get that 10,000 follower mark. And then John also helped us create, we were looking for something for Living Well, Aging Well, where they can check in when they come to participate in any of our activities that we do. And we keep record of all of those because we turn that into Read when we do our reporting. And I don't want to invest in another software program or anything like that. So we've been working with John on brainstorming ideas. Right now we just do a whiteboard and we make a check on a whiteboard, but we were trying to figure out a better solution. So he did some brainstorming and he came up with a check-in system that's actually through our website, and he created some let me think of like some app buttons or push buttons, and so they'll just go to the screen and they click on what activity they're there for, and it will total their total it for the day, so we can keep track of how many participate each day. So that is going to be a great addition to Living Well, Aging Well, and that program is growing. I'm just so excited to see how many people have started participating more and more each time that we have something going on. And then Kelly was featured on this, it's going on during the month of March, the Healthy Fayette County show. And she talked about Living Well, Aging Well, and highlighted all of the activities that we have going on in March, and what this program is actually dedicated for, and for those in our community who are 50 and older. So you can check out her on that show. I kind of threw her in there all of a sudden. I'm like, hey, it's Living Well, Aging Well. I don't need to go. You should go. And she happily went, and she's doing a great job. She's been getting a lot of donations and talking to a lot of different people in the community about joining in on this program. So we're really excited about that participation. John Connor Nature Preserve was opened March 24th, so that's good to go. The guys were out there cleaning up. We had a lot of limbs down over the drive and everything, and so they were out there cleaning up. And I will report the swan is back. We've had a lot of questions on if the swan had returned from the winter, and the swan is back. So and then I just wanted to highlight the importance of having our AED machine, because we had an incident at a basketball game a couple weeks ago, a very life-threatening incident, and everyone there was took quick action. And I've been telling everyone, when you go through CPR classes, which I've done for many years, they say, in a perfect scenario, this is how it should go. And I tell you, it went that way. We just, everyone jumped in immediately and took action, and they all did a great job. So just to thank a few people, Logan Newcomb, Clint Brown. Clint was there. He was doing CPR on the gentleman, and Tim Billups, John Bennett, Sean Steele, Elizabeth Roselle, and Debbie Dawson. They all quickly jumped in, and then everybody else that was there, you know, they were there. saying prayers and hoping that everything goes well. So the EMS team also showed up very quickly and took care of him and got him to the hospital. And he is okay. He did have to have some stents put in, but he is doing well. So it is very important. That AED machine that we had in our building saved his life. And so I am going to be looking into some grants to see if I could find a grant to get another one, because I would like for Logan to have one to travel to the baseball fields and the soccer fields with. And then we do have one for the pool, and we have one at the Miller Building. And so we feel like it would be important for him to have one to travel with. So that's one thing I'm going to be looking into. And then some upcoming dates. Our park board meeting is the 24th. Bunnies and Brownies is April 10th. This is our big community event that we have every year, and that's from 5 to 7 on Thursday evening. And then we're doing Breakfast with the Bunny again this year, and that's April 12th from 9 to 11. And I forgot to write this down, but I think it's $10 a ticket to come to that event. And the Bunnies and Brownies on April 10th is free to the community. And then we are going to start promoting, we haven't put this out there yet, but we are going to have a grand opening for J. Long Memorial 2nd Street Park on April 16th at 4 p.m. So we'd like everyone to come out and participate in that. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
Great job.
so much.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, anyone have any old business? Miscellaneous business? Claims.
Claims for March 17th, 2025, city is $356,570.72. Payroll, $554,424,054. Utilities, $89,562.66.
I move to approve. Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I don't see anyone from the public here. I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Have a good afternoon.